So you will need some tomato. In this case I'm using some cherry tomato on the vine and some heirloom tomato. A little bit of caper and sea salt. You can use in brine, I prefer in sea salt. Just a little sliver of onion, red onion. You have some Sicilian oregano, some roasted almonds, some Sicilian tuna, of course extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of lemon, and a little bit of red wine vinegar. So the first thing we're gonna do is simply just take some of the red wine vinegar and put it in a bowl. Just to cover the bottom, just a little bit. And what I love about this salad is that you make it with one bowl and you're done. And then just sliver the onion, as thick or as fine as you want. I don't like to be too thin, just because I really enjoy the flavor of onion. So just cut it up into the slivers and then take the pieces off and let it kind of marinate in this red wine vinegar. This is gonna be the base of our salad. You know, the onions are gonna lose a little bit of their strong aspect, and then we will continue with the rest. At this point we have our red onion with red wine vinegar. We just take our capers. I do not put them under cold water or anything. I'm not gonna use any extra salt, just use the caper sea salt to really bring everything together. And then we're gonna put the oregano, just a little bit now, and then mix it around. And again, this is gonna be the base. Then take our lemon, just cut a little piece, and again, squeeze it with our onion and kind of let the onion and caper and this all like salty mix sit for a good 5 minutes. Okay, now your compost has sit for 5 minutes. We're gonna start cutting our tomato and moving along the process. So take the beefsteak tomato, plum tomato, Roma tomato, whatever big tomato you have, scork it, split it in half, and then you cut it up in slides as big or as thin that you want. And I personally like this tomato salad to be pretty thick, big pieces of tomato. Then we're gonna go ahead with our cherry tomato. And cutting a cherry tomato or any tomato, it's not really a question, just do however you prefer. I personally like to do this mix where I just cut the cherry tomato in half and the plum tomato in bigger pieces. Now all of our tomato and the onions, everything is here. We just start giving it a mix. And why did I cut the tomato before putting the tuna or anything? I actually want the tomato to release some of the tomato water inside this whole dressing, and it's going to contribute in giving a little bit more body and a little bit more sweetness and umami to the salad. So we mix everything together. Now we go ahead, open our tuna, strain it, and take off big pieces. Try to get chunky pieces, not too fine. And then we're gonna take our almonds and just chop them very roughly. I don't like when it's like too fine, so I personally prefer a pretty thick piece that's inconsistent, but it's still gonna give you a bite and good texture. At this point we have the Sicilian salad almost ready. We have the tomato, onions, capers, little salt and oregano. Then we have the pieces of tuna chunky that we're gonna add to the end because they've already been in olive oil, so I do not wanna overdress them in olive oil. And the chopped almonds. We're gonna go ahead and season with a generous amount of olive oil our tomato and let that sit for another 5 to 6 minutes. Now we're gonna go ahead and plate our salad. You can just eat it from the bowl, but in case you have some guests over or whatever, just this is the way I do it. Just put some of the tomato around, very simply. Again, this would be served just in the bowl right after it's made. You just serve it in the table, and it's usually the perfect summer salad, just like very bright and citrusy, very vinegary, just very delicious. Probably one of my favorite summer salads, and definitely one of the most common. Just put a little bit more of this. Perfect. And then we will go ahead with the pieces of tuna. Just place them all around. It's a delicious salad even to have it on its own, not even as a side. You can have it for lunch, dinner, whenever you want. And then always sprinkle a little bit more of oregano. And this is it, olive oil. And this is your insalata di pomodoro alla siciliana. Whatever you want. And then always sprinkle a little bit more of oregano. And this is it, olive oil. And this is your insalata di pomodoro alla siciliana. Oh, and don't forget the almonds. Just sprinkle them across, just for a little more texture. Traditionally, there wouldn't be any almonds. I think it will really bring it to the next level.